In this video we will summarize a film entitled, Don't Move. Before telling the film, support me to be enthusiastic by pressing the subscribe button. At the beginning of the film we will be introduced to a woman named Iris who is restless in her bed. Iris looks upset since her beloved child died after falling into a ravine. That morning she decided to go to the place where her child fell. Iris was so desperate that she intended to commit suicide there by jumping into the ravine. But Iris was suddenly surprised by the arrival of a man named Andrew.
Beautiful day.
Andrew introduced himself as Richard and told about his sadness because his girlfriend died in an accident.
Months, 2 weeks.
Feeling like she found a friend with the same fate, Iris finally started to talk and tell the story of what happened when her child fell into a ravine. After that Andrew left Iris. But for some reason Iris followed Andrew to the car parked in the same place.
Not such a car guy anymore.
Iris had difficulty getting into the car because Andrew parked very close to her door. That's when Andrew approached with an umbrella. And suddenly Andrew took Iris, who was unconscious, in his car. And in the middle of the journey Iris finally regained consciousness with her hands and feet tied. Iris tried to make an emergency call with her smartwatch, but unfortunately there was no signal there. Secretly Iris tried to cut her hand ties with a small knife, then attacked Andrew. The car lost control and hit a tree. Luckily they were both fine. When Iris was about to escape, Andrew said that he had injected poison into Iris' body, which in the next 20 minutes Iris' body would be completely paralyzed for 1 hour. The more he moves, the more the poison reacts faster. Andrew let Iris escape into the forest, and sure enough, after running quite far Iris began to feel tingling in her fingers and even began to have difficulty moving. Without thinking, Iris immediately set her stopwatch for the next 20 minutes, which meant that in 20 minutes she had to survive. Iris walked again, but slowly her legs began to feel numb. While behind her Andrew casually whistled, following Iris' footsteps. After a few minutes Iris' body became increasingly immobile and she began to crawl while looking for a hiding place. Iris hid under a tree root and Andrew stood above her while screaming frighteningly. Fire ants began to crawl on her body. Because the ants entered her nostrils, Iris spontaneously screamed, "Ah, ah, ah," so that her hiding place was discovered. Without thinking, Iris crawled again and decided to plunge into the river. Iris managed to escape by floating herself. But apparently this was not over because the river current was getting stronger and stronger and Iris had to fight to save herself. As a result, Iris was stranded on the edge of the river and then she became unconscious. Just when her alarm clock rang, Iris regained consciousness. But her body was completely paralyzed and even her voice had disappeared. The only thing she could do was blink. Luckily Iris was stranded behind an old man's house, so she was found by the old man.
Can you talk?
The man named William started to talk to Iris, but because Iris couldn't do anything, Iris could only give a signal using a wink. Then William took Iris to his house using a cart. But not long after, suddenly someone knocked on the door. Iris immediately blinked her eyelids, giving a danger signal. William opened the door and the one who came was Andrew, who pretended that he was looking for his wife who was missing after they had an accident. But William remembered the danger code from Iris, so he acted casually but remained alert. William said that he would help and told Andrew to wait outside. When he took the phone, but suddenly Andrew had broken into the house and acted as if he was confused while looking for Iris, but luckily Iris had been hidden by William behind a chair. Because Andrew was acting strangely and even entered without permission, William threw Andrew out and threatened to call the police. But again Andrew acted even to the point of crying. Andrew began to make up a story that his wife had a mental disorder. If it relapsed badly, her body would be paralyzed for a moment and she couldn't speak. Hearing that, William believed Andrew's story a little. But suddenly Andrew's cell phone rang, even though when he came in he wanted to borrow a phone on the grounds that his cell phone was lost. So now William knows that all of Andrew's stories are lies. Finally, Andrew, who could not pretend anymore, immediately asked where Iris was and threatened William. William said that he hid Iris in the warehouse, and when there was a chance William immediately attacked Andrew. Andrew tried to fight back. And here it is seen that William is quite strong. Even though he is old, he was able to knock Andrew down several times and beat him until Andrew was almost helpless. But unfortunately Andrew secretly managed to reach a knife and right when William was about to kick again. Andrew immediately stabbed William's leg so that William fell and finally died in Andrew's hands. Because previously William had called the police and Andrew failed to find Iris. Andrew intended to burn the house to remove the evidence. Iris, who witnessed all the incidents, tried to move her hand and slowly her fingertips began to move. After pouring gasoline and burning the house, Andrew intended to leave, but he accidentally saw the curtains moving, which was Iris, who managed to reach the curtain rope. He returned home and immediately took Iris away from the house. They then stopped at a gas station. When Andrew went to the cashier, Iris tried to move her body again and slowly her hands could be moved again but still had no strength. Then Iris moved her body towards the car window, and right at that moment a small child saw him, but unfortunately the child's mother came. At the same time Andrew also returned to the car. The mother, who saw something strange with Iris, secretly reported it to the police. They returned to her car that had an accident to tow the car. Andrew was seen also taking spare poison. When Andrew was busy installing a tow rope, suddenly a policeman came because of a report from the woman at the gas station earlier. When asked, Andrew again made up a story that his wife was paralyzed and they had an accident. The more Andrew made up a story, the more long-winded the story he told.
Drinking too? I don't touch.
On the other hand, after several attempts, Iris finally managed to open the car window so that it caught the attention of the police. Iris slowly began to move her mouth and gave a sign for help. But before the police had time to do anything, Andre immediately beat the police to death. Andrew finally burned the police in his car, but he didn't forget to immediately save the police gun. Iris could talk again, but her body still couldn't move fully. Iris tried to get Andrew to talk about her lover who died in an accident, so Andrew was provoked to tell her everything.
Of her neck, the way the light.
She said that Andrew felt really happy and satisfied when he saw a woman dying, and that's what he would do to Iris.
I'm not fucking broken.
Andrew decided to take Iris to a river and would kill her there. When Andrew was preaching in front of Iris, Iris suddenly stabbed Andrew's thigh with a poison injection, but unfortunately Iris couldn't press her thumb. As a result, Andrew continued his action. He took a knife, then dragged Iris to the boat, and was going to kill Iris in the middle of the river. There Iris made her last request before she died, which was to ask Andrew to get her child's toy boats that she kept in her jacket pocket, and suddenly Andrew started to stagger because of the stab. He tried to shoot Iris, but Iris rocked the boat so that Andrew lost control and fell into the river. Andrew, who was still alive, tried to get on the boat, and Iris tried her best to shoot Andrew repeatedly, and one of her shots hit Andrew's chest. Andrew was seen still alive and trying to swim to the shore. While Iris realized that her shot earlier had caused the boat to leak and slowly the water began to flood the boat and finally it really sank. Iris took a deep breath. Fortunately, Iris' legs could move again, and her body recovered so that Iris could successfully swim to the shore. She then approached Andrew, who was in agony, and stepped on his chest while saying, "Sayonara." After that she left the place and left Andrew alone. And the film ended. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.